Good afternoon, members. Would you please be upstanding? Creator and sustainer of all things and all people, you are the source of wisdom and light. Enlighten our minds to receive your guidance, so that you may lead us into true wisdom. May all that we say and do in the service of this county, whether as elected members or as officers, be in accordance with your will for the good of your people. Amen. Thank you. We have a normal housekeeping programme, which we'll have to go through twice because they're two separate meetings. So I'll start with the evacuation procedure. In the event of having to evacuate the council chamber, would everybody leave by the two exits at the rear of the chamber? Officers will be on hand to assist any people with disabilities. Mobile phones. May I ask all members who have mobile phones with them to ensure that they are switched off so they will not disturb this meeting. Agenda item number 1 is declarations of interest. It's just a formality because this is a special meeting. I invite members who do wish to make declarations of interest in respect to the items of the agenda for this meeting. Agenda item 2, to appoint Honorary Alderman. This special meeting is to appoint 3 new Honorary Aldermen. The proposal must be passed by no less than 2/3 of members at the meeting. I will take the appointments in alphabetical order. Admission of Mr. Ivan Old, OBE. I call upon Mr. Rushton, who I understand will move the motion.
Thank you, Chairman. I move that in pursuance of Section 249 of the Local Government Act 1972, Mr. Ivan Old be admitted as an Honorary Alderman of the County Council in Leicestershire in recognition of the eminent services he has rendered to the people of Leicestershire through the performance of his duties as a member of the County Council from 1997 to 2021.
Thank you. Mr. Mullaney, would you like to second the motion?
I'm happy to second the nomination. Ivan has been the longest serving member of the Council's Cabinet, and as the leader, throughout his time in office, he was focused on the needs of children and young people. Ivan should also be remembered for his relentless focus on improving education standards within schools and the enormous effort he put in as a Cabinet member. Ivan was always a strong supporter of youth and youth justice services and was instrumental in the ongoing development of the impact team and promoting prevention work, something that has been appreciated by local members and their communities. Ivan also chaired the Safer Community Safeguarding Board, which brought together a range of agencies, including the police and district councils, to develop joint approaches to community safety and encourage collaborative working across agencies. So I'm happy to second that.
Thank you very much.
We'll go back to Mr. Rushton.
Yeah.
Mr. Rushton.
Yes, Mr. Rushton.
Thank you, Chairman. So Ivan was elected to the County Council in 1997, representing the Market Bosworth division. Prior to his election, Ivan spent 31 years in education, first as a frontline teacher and then as a headmaster. So he was in a great position when the joint administration was formed in 1999. He was the obvious choice for us to be appointed as the lead member for education. He continued in this role till 2005, when he undertook the new statutory role as lead member for children and young people's services, a role that he took very seriously and never ceased to remind me that he was statutory. And also remember, all this time he's been at work and a county councillor of high rank, he's been supported by his wife Mary, who's here with us today, and it's nice to see you, Mary. It's actually the first time I've ever met Mary. I've heard lots about you, Mary, but it's the first time I've ever actually seen you, so welcome. Throughout his career and his time as lead member, Ivan has been a strong champion for children, in particular as an advocate for children in care. He worked hard to ensure that support and resources for this group of children were protected even during austerity. And it's something as an administration we're proud of really, that even though we've had tough times, we've always managed to do our best to protect children and adult services. Ivan led on the development of the corporate parenting board and the joint chairing arrangement. He co-chaired the board with a young person in our care. He also led on the development of Children and Families Partnership that gave a strong focus to work across the partnership for children. He also served on a number of national bodies for a long time, as it happens, including chairman of the National F40 group that actually campaigned successfully for fair funding across schools. In 2019, Ivan rightly was awarded the OBE for his services to local government. Ivan has also been a good and vocal advocate for his constituents and was always keen to remind me that he had 13 parish councils in his patch, one of the highest number for any member, and his successor, who happens to be Bertie, continues to remind me of how onerous it is having 13 parish councils, Ivan, so you're absolutely right. It has been seconded already, Chairman, so thank you very much.
Thank you. Mr Hunt, now invite you to speak.
Thank you, Chair. Just a few words to add to those already said. It's a great personal pleasure for me and for our group to see this award going to Ivan Old. I won't repeat what's been said, but I've always been conscious of his statutory duties, but also the care and concern he has for the children of this county. Further to that, he's always been prepared to get rough and tough with civil servants, and that's no bad thing when we're seeing fundamental changes in the organisation of schools in the county and even country over these recent years. Talking of being rough and tough, back at County Hall we've always been on the receiving end of rough and tough from Ivan, but there's always been a glint in his eye that he didn't really mean it. So I'm really pleased that Ivan's been invited back today to receive this honour and has the full support of our group. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed. Now could I have a show of hands, all in favour, please? Thank you. Carried unanimously. Thank you. I'd invite Mr Old to join me to receive the address, conferring the title of Honorary Alderman and the badge of office. Do I go? Congratulations.
Thank you, Dan.
I'll visit it. Thank you. Would you like to
Do it down here, Chairman, do you want? Just get the old flag.
Take it down that way if you like.
No, you're fine. Take a look at it. Mr. Sinnott? Yeah. We're in the background here. Right, let's see what we can do with this, gentleman. Please support it for me. Could you get it as flat as you can without it flashing back up? That's good work.
I would like to ask Ivan Old if you'd like to address the council. Thank you.
As most people know,
Oh, they want you up there, Ivan.
thank you, Chair. As most people know, I don't mind the work, but I hate the fuss. And I'm known for not liking my photograph being taken. But that aside, when the position of Honorary Alderman was brought in to the council, and I was a member at the time, I thought that is a really serious mark of esteem from your colleagues that you get that. So, although I have an OBE, that was from London, this is from you, and all I can say is that I feel very honoured by the award and would like to thank you all very much for the support you gave me over the years that I did things for children. And I can't resist, Chair, without referring to that F40 campaign, where one of our most active vice chairs is now the new Minister for Schools. So I'm hoping that there will be another push on that at national level. Thank you very much indeed for this award. I really do appreciate it. Thank you.
Right, we move on now to Mr. Byron Rhodes. Mr. Rushton, would you move the motion?
Thank you, Chairman. I move that in pursuance of Section 249 of the Local Government Act 1972, Mr. Byron Rhodes be admitted as an honorary alderman of the County of Leicestershire in recognition of the eminent services he has rendered to the people of Leicestershire through the performance of his duties as a member of the County Council from 1997 to 2021. I'm advised to carry straight on this time, Chairman. So on Byron, as we all know Byron was first elected to the County Council in 1997, representing the Beaver Division in Melton. He also served as a member of Melton Borough Council. Byron held various roles during his term as a county councillor, beginning with a leading role in scrutiny before being appointed to the Cabinet in 2003, when he was appointed as the lead member for Safer Communities and lead member for Regulatory Services and Planning. He also chaired the Police Authority from 2005 to 2010, during which time he oversaw the appointment of the present Chief Constable, Simon Cole. Byron will be best remembered as the Iron Chancellor, having taken the resources portfolio at the most difficult of times, or at least we thought they were at the time. They've now got even more difficult. Despite the significant spending pressures and low funding, Byron was instrumental in always delivering a balanced budget. But it was not all about savings, as I said earlier on. Byron took a balanced approach to savings, understanding the importance of the preventative work done by children and adults. Byron also has strong views on levels of debt, which I know. He's also the only lead member of Resources Not to Borrow, and worked hard to reduce the debt of the County Council. At one time we were borrowing 30 million, the interest was £30 million a year, now it's only 19 million. He also ensured, although sometimes he took a bit of stick for it, that any loans we made were repaid in full and on time with interest. He was also instrumental in establishing the Transformation Unit, which we still use now to make savings and help us deliver services in a different way. Another of his achievements was the setting up of the so-called CAIF, which is the Corporate Asset Investment Fund. This year the fund stands at approaching £200 million and delivers an income of around £5 million. These initiatives have kept service reductions to a minimum, and by maximising efficiencies have made Leicestershire the most productive council in the country for 3 years. Byron has also made the case for fair funding. The battle still goes on, Byron, and exposed at a national level the flaws and inequalities of the local government funding system, which we all know in our hearts of hearts is broken. Unfortunately, both COVID and Brexit have delayed the fair funding review. We still keep battling on, as I said to my group yesterday. Changes can take a long time, but I'm sure we will get some increased funding in due course. And a lot of it will be down to the work that's done in previous years, not just myself and Lee and the team now. We'll be building on the work that Byron did, working with ministers, working with the CCN, working with the LGA. So throughout his period of office, and despite having the responsibilities as a lead member, Byron was also very much a Melton man. There's only 4 county councillors from Melton, and Byron always batted for Melton. On a personal note, I found Byron a great guy to work with. I miss him as a deputy leader. I'm not going to say I want him back because I've got somebody a lot more attractive now, Byron, but thanks very much for the work you did.
Thank you. I understand you will second the motion, Mr. Mullane.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. I'm glad to second this motion. Byron devoted a huge amount of time and effort to working on the very challenging role of the County Council's finances during these difficult financial times. But that's not only been Byron's only contribution. Byron was also instrumental to promoting investing in the rollout of broadband in the rural parts of Leicestershire. Superfast Leicestershire was a multi-million-pound project led by the County Council in partnership with Openreach, the Leicester and Leicestershire Enterprise Partnerships, Broadband Delivery UK and the District Councils. The aim of the project has been to bring superfast broadband access to areas not served by commercial operators, and it has been successful. The investment by the County Council has helped local communities and businesses during this pandemic and people working from home. I'd also draw the Council's attention to the fact that when the Cabinet and Scrutiny model was set up, Byron, along with Simon Galton and Nick Rushton, was instrumental in setting out a robust role for scrutiny, and even as a Cabinet member, Byron understood and recognised the need for effective and important scrutiny. Byron has been a talented political opponent and a man with the best interests of Leicestershire at heart, and I'm glad to second the motion.
Thank you very much. Councillor Rushton. Oh, is it Mr. Oh, yes, sorry. Mr. Hunt.
Thank you, Chair. Just a few words to add to that. I have to say the eulogy really sounded a bit like a shareholders' report from the Chief Executive, or the leader in this case. But behind the facts and figures, there does lie a warm human being with a heart, occasionally a heart of stone, but nevertheless a heart. And I'm really truly sorry that Byron is leaving us with a council tax which is of record proportions, but we know that's not his fault either, so there we go. Certainly every time that we've needed Byron, he's been there to talk us through the difficult periods that we've encountered, and I personally and on behalf of my group wish him the very best of retirement, and thank him very much for all the work he's done genuinely for the county.
Thank you. Could I now call on Mr. Rushton? Yeah, sorry. Yeah, okay, yeah. Right, the vote. Could I have a show of hands in favour of that nomination? Thank you all very much indeed. I invite Mr. Rose to join me to receive the address conferring the title of Honorary Alderman and the badge of office. Thank you. I'd like to invite Mr. Rhodes to address the council.
Well, Chairman, thank you very much. Members, thank you even more for all supporting me to be elevated to this title. I joined the County Council, as the leader has said, 24 years ago. And it's 24 years of some of the best years of my life, you know. And I had time in industry and before that and in business world. But one of the great American presidents, there have been a few, I think Theodore Roosevelt once said that the best prize that life has to offer is the chance to work hard at work worth doing. Well, believe me, county council work is work worth doing. And I won that prize every day for 24 years. all of you, and including a lot of new members, have won it now. So what I implore you all to do, because I'm giving advice, but use it. Make things happen. And don't spend all your time reading long reports or gazing at computers. Actually make things happen. And that's the reward that comes from being a county council. I've got it now, and I appreciate everything you've done for me. So thank you all very much indeed. This means a very great deal to me. I can't tell you. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much indeed. Could I now call Mrs. Janice Richards? Could I have Councillor Rushton please move the motion?
Thank you, Chairman. I move that in pursuance of Section 249 of the Local Government Act 1972, Mrs Janice Richards be admitted as an honorary alderman of the County of Leicestershire in recognition of the eminent service she has rendered to the people of Leicestershire through the performance of her duties as a member of the County Council from 2009 to 2021. Janice was first elected in 2009, as I said, representing the Earl Shilton division. She first entered politics in 2007 as a district councillor, also representing the Earl Shilton ward. And again, all her time throughout as a councillor of various levels, she's been supported incredibly well by Tony, her husband, who I have met loads of time and is with us here today. Janice has also lived in Earl Shilton for 51 years. She's been very active in Earl Shilton, where she supported the town team, the business forum, and the Earl Shilton in Bloom team of volunteers. She was also chairman of the Shopkeepers Association. Before retirement, Janice also ran a very successful hair and beauty salon in the town and is a member of the local Rambling Club. In fact, if you go to Earl Shilton, there's hardly anybody that doesn't know Janice. She was very much Mrs. Earl Shilton. In 2015, she served as the mayor of the borough of Hinckley and Bosworth, and in 2017 was appointed chairman of the county council. During her year as chairman, Janice supported the Joe Humphreys Trust, a charity which seeks to promote education and training for young people and works with young people to support them to react to unexpected life-threatening situations. It also seeks to inspire young people to fulfil their potential and develop their talents. And I know that's something Janice was particularly proud of her work in that area. As a county councillor, Janice served on both the Children and Young People's and the Environment and Transport Overview and Scrutiny Committee. She also represented the County Council on the Alderman Newton's Educational Foundation and the Hinckley Town Centre Partnership. And on a personal level, since I was made leader 9 years ago, I always found Janice to be a very, very honest, very reliable, very hard-working member, and one who was not afraid of telling me if I was doing something wrong. And I certainly appreciated her. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you. Thank you. Could I now call on Mr Mullaney to second the motion, please?
I'm delighted to second the nomination of Janice, another person from the Hinckley and Bosworth area. As the leader has said, Janice is someone who's lived a large part of her life in Earl Shilton, and she cares deeply for the people there and the local area. She's a dedicated fundraiser and has organised events to raise funds for the Army Benevolent Fund and the Memphis School in Burbage. She's also an active member of the local Methodist Church. In addition to the work she does locally, she's also been fundraising for an orphanage in India and a school in Fiji. So I welcome the nomination of Janice Richards, and I'm delighted to second it. Thank you.
Thank you. Right, could I now call on Mrs Hack and invite you to speak?
Thank you,
Thank you.
Chair. Following on from the comments from Nick and Michael, I'd like to mention a few comments of my own. Janice served as chair of this council the year I became elected. And I think being the chair of this council requires real dedication, particularly thinking of the number of events the chair gets invited to. But I think Janice brought real warmth to the role, and she instantly puts people at ease. I think that's a great strength. Janice was always kind and thoughtful in her approach to her year as chair, and as a new opposition member, I always appreciated her support. I've also had the pleasure of serving on health scrutiny with Janice, and she always had the best interests of people of Leicestershire and her constituents at the heart of all of her contributions. I wish her all the best in the new honorary role on behalf of the Labour Group. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Members, all those in favour, please show. Thank you. Congratulations. I invite Mrs Richardson to join me to receive the address conferring the title of Honorary Alderman and the badge of office. Right, I'd like to invite Mrs Richardson to say a few words. You well anticipated it. She says, where do I go? To speak, of course. Off you go. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chairman. Thank you. I feel very honoured and privileged to have been appointed an Honorary Alderman. I would like to thank the leader, Nick Rushton, for proposing me, Michael Mullaney for seconding me, and Amanda Howard for your lovely words. Thank you. My congratulations also to Ivan and to Byron on being appointed Honorary Alderman, so congratulations to you both and well deserved. It's been an amazing journey in the last 12 years. I've made so many friends along the way, and it has been absolutely wonderful. Being a county council is a great privilege, as residents have put their trust in you, and it is a busy time, and sometimes very challenging, as I'm sure you all know. Not forgetting the phone calls or the knock on the door when you're just about to retire for the night or just when you're sitting down for a meal. But when the residents, when they come with their problems and you actually solve their problems, and then it makes it all worthwhile because they're so grateful at the end. You did me great honour to become elected as chairman of this council, and I enjoyed it very much, and the civic team were amazing, led me through it in a very calm manner, so thank you very much to the civic team. The support I've received from the Chief Executive and Democratic Services was invaluable, and all of the departments in which I dealt with over the years. Officers in ICT steered me through what I found to be a minefield, which I'm sure they will have a much calmer life now that I'm not in office. And it was a difficult time, but they did an absolute brilliant job with me, so I must thank them all. And there was always a knock on the door for Graham Wardle, and I'm sure his heart sank when he saw me because he knew what it was all about. But he did work wonders with me, and so I thank you all very, very much for your support over the years. I'd like to thank my husband Tony for the amazing support he's given me over the year. I know it's been years, and I know it's been a bit of a headache for him, but he's always been very supportive, and I know I've driven him mad many, many times about it. My friends, I wish you all well, and I thank you very much, and I feel very honoured to be given this award. So thank you, Chairman, and thank you all so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Janice. Right, ladies and gentlemen, members, I declare the meeting closed, but don't be too relieved because within a minute and a half I'll be starting our second meeting. Thank you.